Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since my last video since I got occupied with some of my requirements for my online classes. But since it's now our summer vacation, I finally had the time to edit our Boracay trip. I'll now take you with me in Boracay in 3, 2, 1. Let's go! So quick story time, this trip was actually a spontaneous birthday gift since my tita will be having a seminar in Boracay. I opted to go since we availed a super steal package worth around 9k inclusive of round-trip airfare and hotel accommodation. I was also very excited since it will be my first flight this pandemic. I really missed the feeling of traveling around. Being in the plane was a very nostalgic experience of my previous travels.
While waiting for your turn to disembark. We appreciate your cooperation.
So here, touchdown Boracay, we rode several transportation services such as boat and bus on the way to our hotel. Since the trip was a bit spontaneous, I'm only traveling with my two cousins, since my tita also had a separate flight. It was also quite a struggle vlogging with the mask on, so I opted to do a voiceover instead. We were dropped off at Station X and from there we walked on the way to our hotel. Upon arrival, I first took a quiz in the lobby since it's our last day of classes before the reading break. Since it's still early for check-in, we just left our bags in the lobby. The sun was a little light brown because it drizzled earlier. We went back to Station X for our lunch but most of the stalls were still closed, so we rode an e-jeep on the way to D Mall to look for a place to eat. A little pro tip to save up some money for transpo is try to wait for public e-jeeps if you don't mind sharing, since it's more expensive to ride a private one. There are lots of resto and souvenir shops in D Mall and we decided to eat at Lemony Cafe since this was one of the must-try. The price range of their food is around 350 to 600 pesos. Since we're quite hungry from the trip, we were a little bit disappointed on how small their serving is with their price. After our lunch, we just strolled around D Mall and bought some accessories. We walked back to Station X to try the famous Coco Mama and it was very delicious. We went to another hotel where my other cousin is staying. Since this hotel is quite far from the beach proper, we again rode an e-jeep. This hotel has better facilities, so we decided to just stay here. After settling our stuff in the hotel, we again went to the beach to meet Kuya Jojo, the one who offered us a package deal for our activities. I will be placing his contact details in the description box below, so feel free to contact him whenever you go to Boracay. For our first activity, we rode a UFO-shaped inflatable that was dragged by a motorboat. It was such a fun and thrilling experience. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have videos, but here are the pictures instead. We were all wet from the ride, so we changed into some dry clothes for their next activity. Paraw Sailing under the sunset. Contrary to our previous activity, this ride was a peaceful and relaxing one, as we watched the sun set slowly in our private Paraw boat. We took lots of pics and just enjoyed the ride. It was really a perfect way to end the day. We walked to the mall to have our dinner at Spicebird. Their price range is quite similar with Lemony Cafe, but it was more worth it because of their huge serving. Since it was quite a tiring day, we just opted to have one drink at Mason's Bar and Grill. We then went back to our hotel using an e-trike, and that concludes day 1 of our Boracay trip. The next day, we woke up early to watch the sunrise in the private beach area in the hotel. It was such a breathtaking view, and of course we again took lots of pictures. We walked to reach the famous dome formation, which is perfect for the sunrise. Everything feels serene here. Here's a quick room tour of our hotel. We then went down to the breakfast area for our breakfast. I was used to buffets during our hotel stays, but we were served an a la carte menu, maybe because of the health protocols. Our agenda for today would be island hopping and scuba diving. We're currently walking on the way to our meetup area for the island hopping. We waited for almost an hour for our boat since there were also lots of tourists that day. It took us around 20 to 30 minutes to reach our first destination, but we saw lots of islands and some hotels along the way. The tide was quite strong and some of the water went inside the boat, making the other passengers wet. Luckily, we were seated on the other area. After the bumpy ride, we finally arrived at Puka Island. There were lots of Instagrammable area for picture taking. We stayed in the island for around 30 minutes until we were called by our boat to hop into our next destination, snorkeling. We paid 40 pesos for the snorkeling fee. We had our snorkeling for around 15 minutes where we saw small fishes and corals under the sea. After snorkeling, we then went to another island for our lunch. The lunch was inclusive in the island hopping package deal. It was not much, but it was enough to satisfy our hunger. We enjoyed eating it while overlooking the sea. After our lunch, we were supposed to still hop into 2 islands, the Magic Island and the Crystal Cove. However, there are additional fees to visit these islands, and majority of the passengers in the boat didn't want to continue with the tour. It was very unfortunate since I was looking forward to do cliff jumping on the island. So we were back in the main island of Boracay quite early, and we just again took pictures in their iconic white sand to kill the time. We were scheduled for a scuba diving activity in the afternoon. We first had our briefing and practice diving before the actual scuba diving. It was such a unique and fun experience. My ears hurt at the first due to the pressure difference, but I was able to enjoy it as I saw the colorful fishes and corals under the sea. After our scuba diving experience, which took around an hour and a half, we had our dinner buffet in Astoria. Since we were quite tired because of the long day, we just decided to leisurely swim in our hotel and have drinks at the pool bar. For our third day, we didn't have much anything to do, so we just decided to visit Crimson, where my tita is currently staying for her seminar. The weather was quite gloomy, so it wasn't that much of a summer vibe, but thankfully it didn't rain. We decided to have a quick dip and tried some pool tricks we learned from yesterday's scuba dive. After settling our checkout in our hotel, we just roamed around the beach area and decided to have lunch at Two Seasons. However, the waiting was 2 hours, so we just ordered their famous 4-cheese pizza for takeout. It was very delicious and definitely worth the wait. After eating our lunch, we were picked up early to go to the airport since our flight is around 6 p.m. It was a smooth travel on the way to the airport. We were actually quite sleepy because of the swim earlier. The trip was just short, but it was definitely memorable. I've experienced a lot of first times and it was a much needed vacation from school. So that's it guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys on my next one.